Get ready for Netflix's gripping new medical drama, Pulse. Set in a cutting-edge Miami trauma center, third-year resident Dr. Danny Sims is unexpectedly thrust into a promotion when beloved chief resident Dr. Xander Phillips gets suspended. Then, with the emotional and physical stakes at their highest, a storm will push the hospital and its residents to their limits. Witness how life can change in a heartbeat when you're operating under pressure. Watch Pulse, only on Netflix.
Oh my God, it's the coolest thing ever. Hey guys, have you heard of Goldbelly? Well, check this out. It's this amazing site where they ship the most iconic, famous foods from restaurants across the country, anywhere nationwide. I've never found a more perfect gift than food. They ship Chicago deep dish pizza, New York bagels, Maine lobster rolls, and even Ina Garten's famous cakes. Seriously. So if you're looking for a gift for the food lover in your life, head to goldbelly.com and get 20% off your first order with promo code GIFT.
Halliday presents, in the red corner, the undisputed, undefeated Weed Whacker Guy. Champion of hurling grass and pollen everywhere. And in the blue corner, the challenger, extra strength Halliday. Eye drops that work all day to prevent the release of histamines that cause itchy allergy eyes. And the winner by knockout is Halliday. Halliday, bring it on.
What the hell he on? What the hell he trying? That shit is stupid. Okay. As you guys are coming in. You know, I don't know if you guys know this, but a lot of times when men go live, a lot of times when men go live, they're actually butt-ass naked down below. Like, they'll be, like, dressed from the top up, and then they'll be butt naked from below. And you're literally, will be looking like, what in the fuck is going on? But ain't no way you could really say what the fuck is going on, because they don't. How are we supposed to know? We're not supposed to know. We're not supposed to know that they're naked. So, why did I say that? Because, am I naked right now? No. But I wanted to say that I could have been naked below. And how would you guys have known? I got on pajamas though. It's prison jail Felon Talk this whole week on the couch. So if you are coming in, what is taking so long on this one? What? What the hell, y'all? Anyways, Facebook, we are live right here. We are also live on YouTube. I don't know. I think I'm just going to upload the YouTube to the... I'm just debating on it. We're going to see how this is going to go. So, let's check it out, and I'm ready. It's the Couch Chronicles, where it ain't no fucking limits. Without further ado, let's get it poppin'.
It's time for the Couch Chronicles, where there ain't no fucking limits.
Every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday from 8 Central Time. You don't never want to miss a couch. And now we live every Wednesday at 9:30 a.m. Central Time. So that's the couch every day of the week. Yeah, tune in. You don't want to miss this shit. It's the Couch Chronicles, where it ain't no what? I know you said it.
So YouTube and anybody that is listening to this, wherever I'm streaming from, this music does belong to me.
We hit the jackpot this time.
We're going to jump into a song and then we're going to jump into the couch. Y'all already know what time it is. It's the Couch Chronicles, where it ain't no fucking limits. Wherever you watch it, make sure that you share the live. Tell somebody that it is Prison Jail Felon Talk. I know you know somebody. Stop playing. Hey, big time. I did big time. Giving up the mids. They took me straight off the front line. I'm not lying. Too much in my cry up in that courtroom. Then the judge just dismissed me like I was dumb too. And the bailiff looked at me like, what you gon' do? My mind is fucked up, so all I'm thinking is I'm gon' shoot. Then reality set in like it was supposed to. Cat calls down the halls, that's what them folks do. Brown bag, bologna sandwich in them jumpsuits. My cellmate just did 100 years on some dumb shit. Damn, is this the end of the days? Cause living in a cell is just like being in a grave. If ain't no money on your books, then you ain't eating shit. You better pray that you can mail a penitentiary gift. And for them lonely days, a visitation list from your family and your friends, that's a major lift. And yo, spirit, all the drama on the yard, you wanna forget it, yeah. Behind these walls is different, and you wouldn't understand if you didn't live it, ayy. Big slime,
They wouldn't understand
big
this
time,
shit, y'all.
ayy. And they took me out the front line.
They got it.
I'm still scarred from doing my time. And everybody said I should let go. I'm trying, but it did something to my mental. In or out the pen, you know I'm still 10 toes. If you know, now you know, I hold my own, that ain't wrong. And I know I gotta think different, cause if I don't, then I guess I be the saint, nigga. Wait, I'm tryna let it go. I'm tryna be a better person so I don't have to get physical. I gotta get my mind right for the limelight. I don't care who judging if they don't know doing timeline. Tryna be an example to my fans and all my peoples and my nieces and my nephew. Big slime, I did big time. Sitting in the cold cell in the daytime. Your time be fine, but it's not like the world, no. Big slime, I did big time. Giving up them years that took me straight off the front line, I'm not lying. Been watching my mama cry up in that courtroom. Then the judges dismissed me like I was dumb too. Then the bailiff looked at me like, what you gon' do? My mind is fucked up, so all I'm thinking is I'm gon' shoot. Damn, is this the end of the days? Cause living in a cell is just like being in a grave.
Period. Y'all, it's the Couch Chronicles where it ain't no fucking limits. As I said before, that music does belong to me. That song is called Time. And I wrote that song for us. Honestly, I didn't even write it. It just came up out of me. So with it coming up out of me, it was just like, yo, what? That's for us. That ain't for nobody else. Let me double check and make sure we can get you at your best. We want to be able to hear you. We want to be able to hear you all the way. We want to be able to hear you all the way. Period. Thank you so much for joining the couch.
Thank you for having me, man. I'm so grateful. Thank you for having me. Such an opportunity.
Anytime. I'm down to support anybody who's done anytime. For one, I try to make this a safe space for us to be able to tell our story. Because when I first got out of prison, it was so many motherfuckers trying to tell me, oh, you're not allowed to tell your story. When I was living in Detroit and I was doing my music, I wasn't allowed to just tell my story. People wanted to keep it on the hush-hush because it wasn't something that was looked upon. I don't give a fuck how y'all look upon it. We actually lived upon that shit. The fuck? We got real stories. Real experiences.
Real stories.
Facts. So for the ones that don't know who you are and that is listening on each platform, can you tell everybody who you are, where you're from, and where you're located?
So I'm Kaitlyn. I'm born and raised Tulsa, Oklahoma. I moved I'm sitting in LA talking to you guys live from Cali.
Live from Cali. I see them palm trees and the reflection.
Yeah, the reflection.
First of all, y'all, tell them how much time you did.
So I did 7.5 years at Mabel Bassett, and I did almost a solid year in county time fighting my case.
Now,
So about 8.5 years old.
what was it like fighting your case in the county? What was county like for you? Let's start there. Let's pause. Before you even went to county, when you caught your case, what type of mind frame was you in when you actually caught your case? Now, I don't know what you went in for. I don't never ask nobody what they case is. So, what was your mind frame when you actually caught your case?
You hear me? So like I said, I'm from Tulsa. I was thugging real bad. I used to gang bang. Like I used to live to die for the set. And you know, I caught my case. The plan was to rob somebody to go get some more cocaine, right? So that was the whole plan. So I went to prison for attempted robbery with a dangerous weapon. Well, the robbery was shot in my case. So then I was now looking at an attempted murder, possibly a murder charge, if that person died, right? Because of just how everything played out. So by the glory of God, that's how I look at it now. When I look back on my life, what I know now is not what I knew then, right? So by the glory of God, this person did not pass away. But I was held up by the homicide unit in the gang task force unit in an interrogation room. I wasn't able to go to the county. I wasn't able to talk to an attorney. I wasn't able to call my mom. I wasn't able to talk to anybody. The only person that I could talk to was Detective Walker. I remember his name. He's a very big homicide detective in Tulsa. He's retired now. And he just kept asking me questions, like trying to figure out what happened, what was the real story. And I wasn't trying to be honest. You know, I was like, I don't know what happened. And so my mindset, like, I was no will. All I was looking to do was to keep robbing people, keep getting high, keep robbing people, and keep getting high. That's what led me to go to prison. You know, like when I was in the county, it was a very weird experience. It was very weird because I was in the county, I was lost. Like, I didn't really know who God was, you know. So I was just feeling very hopeless. I had just turned 18. Never gonna get to experience life after this. Like, this is it for me, because I was in a lot of trouble. Like I said, the gang task force, they was building a big case on me for a lot of other crimes. And when I went to court, it was so weird because I had a public defender. I didn't have a paid attorney, you know. Like, I didn't come from a family with a lot of money. Like, my mom, she could do what she could do for us, and that was that, you know. So I didn't get to drop $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 on an attorney to have a good fair chance at a trial. And so at first they were trying to railroad me. Like, they were offering me 30 years, and it went down to 25.
Let me pause you real quick. How many times have you heard somebody say, bond out? Just bond out then.
Hey, what if you got no bond?
Exactly.
What if they holding you in shackles? You don't got no bond?
Exactly.
What if they let you out?
Exactly.
Flight risk.
I was there with you. I was there. I was on the same shit you was on, because when they would be like, bond out, I'm like, they think I'm flight risk because of the Trinidad shit. So I'm flight risk automatically. So, go on. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Yeah.
No, you're good, sis. You're good. Yeah, it was no bonding out for me. That was talked about. Like, when I went, for the prelim, my attorney was like, why can't she get a bond? And the judge was like, absolutely not. Like, you absolutely not. She's a flight risk. She's an active gang member. She is known in Tulsa, Oklahoma. She is not getting a bond. I was in there. It was just me. My back was against the wall. I didn't really have any friends that was coming in and out of jail. So I was just in there by myself. Now, I did meet some great people in the county. Like, don't get it twisted. Like, I did meet some great, solid people that still to this day, almost 10 years later, we are still friends. But when I was like, when they came back, go backtrack. When they came back with that 25, my attorney was like, he said, I remember it clear as day. He said, Kaitlyn, I really don't think that the DA is going to come down off of this offer. So you should really, really think about this, because if you take it to trial, he was like, I'm going to let you know right now, it's not going to look good. You're definitely maximum sentence because you're definitely guilty. And I had already admitted you know, or told the DA or that, but my attorney was like, it's just not going to look good on you when you go to trial, because I had two co-defendants. One of them turned state witness on me, and the other one was a juvenile. So obviously the juvenile was going to turn state witness on me too, because we all know how the DA does. If you don't testify, we're going to charge you as adult too, you know. So it was just a very, very, and I remember I called my mom and I was telling my mom, and I'm like, this is what they're offering me, and she was like, just what she said to me. And my mom is weird because like she's never really been like a super godly woman, but she's always spoken godly things over my life at the right time. And she was like, baby, all I can tell you to do is go and pray and ask God. And I was like, man, I don't even know who God is, right? So I go to, at the time, she was a godly woman. You know, sometimes we get that church house religion, right? So it's like we're in that jail spirit religion. We're crying out to God because we need God. We're desperate. We're looking for an answer, right? So my funky at the time, I'm telling her, I'm like, roommate, I've never prayed to God before, but I need help. You know what I mean? Like, I'm desperate. So I said, if this God person that you serve and that you speak about, can you pray with me? So my roommate prayed with me, right? And so I was like, okay. I go to sleep. Crazy experience. I wake up 3 o'clock in the morning. I start writing Bible scriptures on the wall. I don't know any Bible scriptures. You know, like I'm serious. No, it's never been a remembrance of mine. Yeah, I've been in and out of church, of course, but I don't know any Bible scriptures by heart. So I started writing certain Bible scriptures on the wall. And I'm like, okay, this was a Tuesday. I remember it. Tuesday, I'm like, okay, I'm up. They call this church come in. And I think it was called like Redeeming Love or something like that. It was two older white people. And so I'm like, okay, I guess I'm going to go to church, you know, like I'm desperate. I need
right.
Church, and they're singing this song, and it's what can wash away my sins? Nothing but the blood of Jesus, right? So I'm like, okay. And then the guy is like, ask for forgiveness and ask Jesus to come inside your heart, and he'll accept, he'll come inside your heart, and then you'll be a child of God. So I do the sinner's prayer. This is my second court hearing. And so I go to court, and my attorney, he's like, listen, he said, I have some news for you. My heart drops to my stomach. I'm thinking it's bad news immediately, going to the bad, right? And he's like, we have a better plea deal for you. I don't know why they're wanting to lower the sentence, but they're going to lower the sentence for you. And he said, this is probably the best plea deal you're going to get, so please accept it. Don't take it to trial. If you take it to trial, it's going to be bad. They're going to give you the max sentence, which at the time for my crime was 30 years. Violent. You know what I mean? So the plea deal was amending the charge because robbery with a dangerous weapon, shooting with intent, you know, controlled dangerous substance with intent to distribute. All these charges, right? Like 5 felonies I was looking at. There was only one felony that they put on me when I went to go look at it, and I went to talk to the DA. The DA said, but I feel like I need to give you a chance. And he said, if I gave you 30 years and you're just 18, you wouldn't still have a chance at this thing called life. You would get out of prison, you wouldn't know what to do with this thing called life. So what I've chosen to do is amend your sentence, attempted robbery with a dangerous weapon, because you did not. I'm going to amend it. And because you did not pull the trigger, I'm going to amend it for the dangerous weapon because they thought a pocket knife and some pepper spray on me, right? So I accepted that. I was like, I can work with that. You know what I mean? And so I said, where do I sign? 15 years. I don't want any paper time. I made that very, very clear. I don't want any paper time. And he was like, we can do that. You know, so 15 years. And then when I get, so boom, so then I sign for my time, and you know, we go through the process of waiting, pull chains, and everybody that's pulling chains, they make it sound exciting, like you on a pull train bus,
right.
It's gonna be cool, and so I'm like, all right, man, I guess this prison thing isn't so bad, right? So that's my new perspective on it. Like maybe it's not as bad like, it was hard times. She was like, now, baby, you got to prepare yourself for what you're about to go through because it's not easy, right? So I'm like, all right. And then I got my friends talking to me. I done got me a jailhouse girlfriend, right? We go through the motions. So my friends is talking to
She cracking me up because she is not lying.
And they were like, listen, just be grateful you're not going to the feds. Like, you're going to the state. The state is kind of better than the feds because you can kind of get away with whatever you want to get away with. So I'm like, okay, cool. Like, I'm ready. So I wait maybe
She's out
3 weeks. I pull chains. When I pull chains, that was like kind of, because at the same time I'm pulling chains, one of my friends that I know from outside came inside. And when she came in, she brought some Xanax bars. So this whole time I'm still in my addiction, right? Like I'm barred out. I can tell you bits, pieces, everything, but remember I told you that I asked Jesus to come into my heart. So I'm barred out. I remember bits and pieces. I pull chains. I go to A&R. The Xanax bars are not real Xanax because by this time my body is withdrawn. I've never withdrew from Xanax. So I'm in A&R. I'm sick, and it just not. It wasn't a good feeling. And whole. All I can remember was whole. It's screaming. Like, hurry up and eat. Hurry up and shower. Hurry up and call your family. You got to pick one. Either shower or call your family.
Facts.
There's
I'm like, fuck my family. I'm about to shower.
Between. You don't get enough time. You know what I'm saying? There's not enough time. You don't get enough time to shower or call your family and do everything you need to do to take care of business. So I'm like, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I'm picking. Okay, Monday I'm going to shower. Wednesday I'm going to call my mom. Friday I'm going to shower. Repeat. So I'm in A&R for 26 days. I get out of A&R. I hit the yard. Now that is when life really started lifing, right? So I hit the yard, and it was weird for me because I'm a stud. So I didn't know how to find my balance because the same person I was in county jail with, she was already on the yard, and she was pulling chains to side some more time than she was going back to the yard. So she beat me to the yard before I came to the yard. She's cheating on me. She's laying up with this. So when I hit the yard, I'm already in drama without knowing I'm in drama. So I'm already doing hard time without realizing this is hard time, right? So I'm into it with this person. I'm into it with that person. I'm trying to find my way. I'm cleaning my clothes in the day room bathroom, not knowing that somebody this and now they mad at me because they think I'm stealing their drugs. It's a lot, right? So I'm like, oh my God, what have I gotten myself into? It was just so weird. And this is the time when I hit the yard. This is the time when meth was a really big day, and it was really dark. It was really dark and heavy at Mabel Bassey, And I'm watching people bang needles in their arms, and I've never
she ain't lying.
Drug user. You know what I mean? I've never been a drug user that I didn't hang out with people that banged in their arms. I'm like, I'm better than that, So I'm looking at these people and I'm putting judgment on them. I'm like, that's disgusting. They're out of line. Don't do that by my bunk. You know what I mean? Move around. And so I would get myself into some problems. And I ended up getting into my first fight, and it was just bad. But backtrack. When I got sentenced, my judge gave me a 1-year review.
Oh.
So when I got that 15 with the 1-year review, my judge was going to give me a chance to get out. I ended up getting into a fight. And when I got into the fight, I got pepper spray. So when you get pepper spray, they have to write true misconduct. Look, when I first hit the yard, they were writing misconducts left and right. You weren't making it. And it was Awue. Awue had wrote me a misconduct. God bless Awue. I love him now. But then I did not like him, And Awue wrote me a misconduct. We're going to shoot. So I'm like, man, shoot. What is shoot, bro? So then I'm about a month in on the yard. Inside prison, and I'm like, this is a hard time. Like, what have I got myself? I keep asking myself this over and over. What have I gotten myself into? Like, I'm just feeling so, like, God, I just don't see how I'm going to make it up out of here. I don't know how I'm going to make it up out of here.
Right.
If you're really real, why haven't you made yourself known to me? Why am I going through what I'm going through, God? Where are you, right? So this is what I'm going through in SHU. And I hear Belle talking. I love Belle. Belle's talking. Belle's like, that's one of the new little hey. And so I'm telling Belle my name, you know, I'm like, I go by Howard, 744007, right? I'm fresh on the yard. I don't know if you need my name, my DOC number. And, you know, Belle was like, this isn't the place. It's so weird because I don't know if she remembers, but I remember. And she was like, listen, little baby, I'm going to tell you right now, this isn't the place you want to be, and this isn't the way you want to do your time. And so I sat in SHU for about a week, forget pepper sprayed. I got out of SHU, and they put me on the program pod, C2C pod B, right? And they put me on, and I'm meeting people, and I'm in this godly program. So these people are nice. You know what I mean? They're being kind to me. They're being super nice to me. Murphy in the program was one of the first people that just showed me so much love. And we kind of went through a weird relationship, but misunderstanding. And then she showed me love and once we got our misunderstanding settled, like we never fought or anything like that, but we had a disagreement. And Murphy showed me love. And Murphy kind of sat me down and told me a little bit about her story and why she was there. And I just like, I felt it in my heart because I was like, that could have been a fishbowl. That should have been me, you know? And so I started to become more grateful. I started to become more thankful, right? And so I'm like, okay, they're calling, it was Sunday, they called for church. And I'm like, I gotta go. You know, so it's the first time I go to church. I meet Marche, I meet Jennifer, I meet Pastor Cheryl. Like, I'm seeing all these people up on the praise team, praising and worshiping and just loving God. This is when Marche and Schizo, they was doing their own songs, right? So I'm like, Marche sang this one song and the spirit hit me. Like, I swear, it came down upon me so heavy. And I was like, this is weird. This is so weird. You know, like, I'm like, this is a cult. At first, this is what I'm thinking in my head because I'm from the streets. You know what I mean? Like, nobody is showing you genuine love, right? So I'm like, this is
not a cult.
And Pastor Cheryl, she came up to me, she started praying for me, and she was like, you don't know this yet, but God has his hand upon your life, and he's always had his hand upon your life. He's just been waiting for you to say yes. He's been waiting for you to be willing, right? The first time somebody prophesied over my life. Fast forward, incarceration, because it played such a big part of my life and who I am today. So fast forward, I ended up moving to C2C Side 2. I ended up meeting this great person, Sarah Foreman, right? And Sarah will tell you the story that she was around. You know what I mean? And she didn't want no parts of me. But one time we talked, and she was like, God spoke to me directly about you. And this is when Sarah was in her addiction. And, you know, Sarah's been on the couch. Sarah's told her story. And, She was like, God spoke to me about you. Sarah doesn't really do the family sister. She don't do that. You know, Sarah had her group of people, and that's who Sarah rocked with, you know. And I was like, we started talking, and then her and Terry, they would read their Bible. And as her and Terry are reading their Bible, I'm trying to pretend like I know what's going on. I have no idea what they're talking about, what they're reading. And so when we would go, it would be count time, we would go to our cells. I would hurry up, go to my cell, try to find the Bible story. And then I would come back, and I'd be like, y'all won't believe the word that I got. You know what I mean? But at the same time, they're ministering to me, and they don't even know it. They play such a big part of my life, right? So fast forward, this was such a very profound time in my life. It was maybe like October. Yeah, because I hit the yard in September, so this is October. Like, I'm still battling with, like, feeling depressed and feeling, like, suicidal and not feeling worthy. Like, I'm tripping. Kim Perigo is my roommate. because Miss Kim is the most kind, beautifulest soul ever. She's so sweet. Kim Pear goes my roommate, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, I'm writing suicide notes to my family, right? I'm like telling them, I'm like, I can't do this. I'm not cut for this. So I write these letters out. And at the time, Kim worked at that call center place, so she left real early in the morning. She left real early in the morning, so they called.
That touched me because it be like that.
So I put the curtain up right in my room. I put the curtain up, and Kim had a blow dryer, so I'm about to cut the cord to the blow dryer, and I swear, I'm about to cut the cord to the blow dryer. My TV cuts on. I didn't turn my TV on. I didn't cut it on. My TV cuts on. It's on. I'm that much of a believer yet to be watching Hillsong and TBN on my TV. So there's this pastor. His name is Carl Lentz. He comes on the TV. He has this label thing. They're like, what you label stuff at Walmart, price tag you. And he's talking, he's preaching, and it's like God is speaking directly through him to me. And he's like, you allowed the world to label you worthless, not good enough, you'll never be any. And what he said that was so profound to me that day, it's like God called me by name. He said, there's not somebody on the other side of this TV that's thinking about committing suicide, but there's somebody on the other side of this TV that's about to commit suicide. And I'm here to tell you that God said, there is more. That there is more for you. And it was so weird because maybe like 20, 30 minutes after that, Sarah came looking for me. And I'm like, what's up, friend? You know, like Sarah came look for me. I'm like, what's up? She was like, hey, Miss KK and Pastor Cheryl, they want to speak to you, right? And so I'm like, for what? I don't, you know, I'm tripping. I'm like, what do they want? You know? So I'm like, okay. She's like, go to the chapel. Okay. And before I knew what was really going on, Sarah was like, Miss KK and Pastor Cheryl just anointed me and Terry with oils. And they said that I needed to come get you because you're next, right? So Miss KK and Pastor Cheryl were standing in front of the chapels. Miss KK, Pastor Cheryl. And at this time, I got really close with Wacky. She was like she's like my second mom. Like, I love her. And so I bring Wacky with me. And it's Miss KK, Pastor Cheryl, and it's Wacky. And so they're all standing by me. I think Sarah ended up leaving. I don't think Sarah was there for this. Sarah ends up leaving. They end up anointing me with oils. And that was the first time that somebody had prophesied over my life that I would preach and I would teach the word of God and that I would be an evangelist and that I would do great things in God's name, that I would change millions of people's lives, right? Well, I'm like, wow, that's crazy. So then, you know, they anoint me with oils and I start hitting the church running. I start going to church. I start sharing the gospel with people. It's like something was ignited in me. And then, you know, people in the yard like Auntie, Tata, you know what I'm saying? Belle, my nickname is Pastor Howie. That's what they call me. You know, and like that's such a heavy, to be in prison and have other inmates call you Pastor Howie, that's a heavy calling as a little baby. I'm a little baby in their eyes. You know what I mean? I'm not doing big time. They've been doing time. While they was doing time, I was still out in the streets in my diapers, basically. You know what I mean? Like, and so for them to call me that, it was such a powerful thing. And for people to come to me and be like, can you pray with me? Can you read the Bible with me? You know what I mean? Like, that was such a powerful thing. But I would love to say, like, I stayed on track with God the whole time, but I didn't. You know what I mean? Like, I was in and out, jumping in and out. And that went on for, like, almost 8 years. Yeah, 8 years, because now I've just got back on with God. Like, I've been in and out, struggling with addiction, in and out. I never did meth while I was in the penitentiary, but I started to get my own bags in there, you know, and I started to be...
Now, I do want to pause you. What helped you, when you was going in and out, what helped you to finally get steady to where you was just going on one track where you like, you know what, this is what I'm going to do? Now. I'm talking about right now.
That's a very powerful thing because you know what? I got into a very toxic relationship and I don't want to say that person is bad. We were just bad for each other. I wish her nothing but good love and blessings. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not here to dog anybody. I got into a very toxic relationship and chasing that relationship all across Oklahoma, right? no good. And at the end of the day, that's all she kept saying is, Kaitlyn, there's more in you that's coming out of you. There's more in you that's coming out of you. I just want you to get it. I want you to understand. You got souls to save. Like, this is what my greatest friend is telling me. And I'm like, I just don't care. Like, I want to do fentanyl. I just want to be high, bro. Like, I don't want to do this, right? So it's funny because the thing that broke my heart pushed me into purpose. Because the same person that I was in relationship with is the same person that told me, like, hey, you can go out to California, you can do this rehab thing, you can get sober, right? So I came out here, and at first, we were supposed to do it together. And for, like, the first 30 days, we didn't do it together. And then finally, we ended up talking to each other, and we was like, let's try to do it together, right? That didn't work out. You know, long story short, it just didn't work out. So she left the program I'm at now, went to a different program. I stayed here. And because of the program that I'm in now, it's people, I was so broken, I didn't even love myself. People loved me back into purpose. You know what I mean? And when they loved me, I loved myself enough to open up my Bible again and ask God for forgiveness and repent. And then God started speaking to me again. You know what I mean? Because God doesn't bless mess. That doesn't mean that his hand wasn't on my life. It just means that I wasn't in communion with him. My heart posture wasn't in the right place. You know, my heart posture was totally over here while he needed it to be over here, right? So it's like, once I fixed my heart posture, and I was like, God, like, I'm serious this time. Like, I don't ever want to do fentanyl again. You know, and it's because watching two people, really, Chris and Amanda, they're like the program directors. I don't know if they're watching this or not, but they're not like the program owners, but they basically run the program. They're so hands-on. And, you know, like, when I was going through it, like, I would be like, I miss this girl. I want to talk to her. Like, I'm tripping. Like, I don't want to be here. I'd rather just go home to what, there is nothing left in Oklahoma for me. I've ruined all my good relationships, all my relationships that meant something to me. I ruined them. You know what I mean? And the relationships I have left is either gang member friends or friends that still stuck in addiction, or friends that's wishy-washy and say they love me, but their actions don't show otherwise. So what's in Oklahoma for me, right? So I'm like, everything I need is right here. So I would just go back there and I would just talk to them and I'd be manic. I'd be like, this is what's on my mind, this is how I'm feeling. And, you know, Chris ended up telling me his story. And he was like, at some point, like, you're going to have to decide to love yourself. Mm-hmm. Like, you're going to have to decide to pick you. And you deserve a great life, you know. So I was feeling so undeserving of great things. Like, I felt so unworthy. Like, I don't deserve nothing that I have now. I don't deserve anything good. I was just in a very dark place. Oh, that the impact that they have on my life, I don't think they really know how much they've impacted my life. Like, and I tell them all the time, I'm so grateful for you guys. I'm so grateful for your friendship, because if it wasn't for you guys loving me, I don't know where I would be today. I really mean that. Like, I don't know if I would be somewhere dead. I don't know if I'd be somewhere homeless. I don't know if I'd be on the corner nodding out. I don't know if my mom would be able to reach me.
Now, I want to pause you again.
Where I'd be.
I want to pause you again. You said earlier that, you know, when you was locked up, you used to look at people different whenever they used to be shooting up, because when you first hit the yard, they were shooting up real bad. When did you come to a point, because to them, fentanyl is just as bad. When did you come to a point where you stopped looking at them and judging them and finding yourself on the other end?
When I became really close with Sarah, I got to see, like, what meth really did to somebody and how it really turns somebody over somebody. I got to witness the spiritual battle first, like, right there. Like, it was my closest friend. My closest friend is dealing with this addiction. My closest friend is being transparent. She's being vulnerable. She's telling me, like, I don't want to keep getting high, but I can't stop getting high, but I know God has a calling on my life. I don't know how I'm going to do this. You know what I mean? My closest friend is being intimate with me. And that's when I realized, like, you're no better than anybody else. And then I realized, like, you know, like I said, there was somebody that played a very, very important part on my walk with God, right? The first time I walked into that chapel, and I watched that addiction take a hold of that person. And that broke my heart. Like, I have notebooks praying and fasting for one person, like, God, deliver them, because I know the calling on their life. I know the anointing on their life. You use it, know that you can deliver them. You know what I mean? Like, and when I watched it take all of these chosen people, because some are called, but very few are chosen. There was a lot of chosen people in a place called penitentiary that God really has their hand on their life. You know what I mean? Chosen people. Chosen. His most special possessions. I believe that in my heart. And so that's when I changed my perspective. Like, Kaitlyn, you're no better than anybody else. It doesn't matter if it's a homeless person sleeping on the ground with cardboard. You're no better than them. So, you know what? If you walk past a homeless person sleeping on the ground with cardboard, ask them if they're hungry. And that's what I do. Like, I don't ever post it on social media for a round of applause. I'm always feeding. I'll take my last 20 out of my pocket and give it to somebody that I know is doing worse than me. Why? Because I know God will bless me. And I will never go to bed hungry or without. Because of where I'm in my life today, I know that God can use me to bless others. And he'll multiply my seed as long as I keep sowing. In due time, I'll reap the harvest that I've sown. You know what I mean? So it's like, I
she's speaking some real shit, y'all.
Better than me, and what we can do together is unstoppable work. It's unstoppable work. You know what I mean? It's just like, it's very powerful. And the girlfriend, the first girlfriend I had, that at the time, like, she never did it in front of me because the way I just verbally expressed, like, that's disgusting. I don't fool with that. And then, like I said, when I got close with Sarah, I was able to look at it from a different perspective. Big and Alcoholics Anonymous, I now know that some are sicker than others, and it's going to take a lot more work to help the sicker ones. You know, like, everybody is different. We're at different levels in our addiction. Some people are fighting bigger demons than I'm fighting.
When did you find yourself in the midst of fentanyl and decided to take it?
So when I got out of prison 2 years ago today, I got out of prison March, April, May, June, July. I want to say in August, I got my own spot. I got my own spot. One of the homies pulled up on me, and he pulled up on me with like 1,000 pills. And he was like, "Here, Dollar, I just want to bless you. Like, you know, it's all love. Like, we been missing you."
That's how they get you.
And I'm going through my Facebook trying to figure out who I can sell to. I don't have those type of connections anymore. Like, all those people, I done cut them out of my life. So everybody on my Facebook is godly. So I kept looking at the pills, looking at them. And then finally one day I was like, you know what? I'm finna snow one of these. And that's how it started back up again, is I started snorting pills. Before you know, I looked up a month and a half later, all the pills are gone and I'm sick. You know what I mean? So now I'm asking this person to ask this person if they life, and I'm good at hiding my addiction. I've always been one of those. It's very dangerous for me. That's what I'm saying. Like, I have to live an honest lifestyle because it's very dangerous. Because if I don't verbally express I'm doing fentanyl pills or I'm doing this, nobody will really know unless you're drug testing me. Then you'll know, like, oh, she's getting high, she's doing this, she's doing that, right? So nobody really knew what I was suffering with, because in the process of doing all this, I'm still going to church on Sundays. I'm still posting on Facebook like life is great. I'm still making everything look good on the outside, but on the inside, it's horrible. It's horrible. I'm depleting, right? So, you know, I end up doing 1,000 of those pills, and I end up searching for those, and I'm looking for this, looking for that, find myself doing this and doing that, and, you know, like, I ended up using with the person I was with, and that was one of my boundaries that I never crossed. Like, I was like, we'll never use together. Like, I can't see me doing that with you and you doing that with me. And We ended up using together, and that became a very serious situation. I ended up going to jail, and I ended up going to jail for domestic violence because I was coming down off drugs. If we're being completely honest, you know, I was being an ugly, evil person. Yes, I had my reasons to do what I did, but I probably would have never lashed out like that if I would have been sober. You know what I mean? And it's because I was coming down off drugs and I didn't have what I needed. I was sick, and I lashed out on people. I got myself in others to jail, and it was just like when I went to jail that last time, you know, I was like, I took that as a warning sign. I took that as a warning sign from God. Like, I'll set you back down again. Don't forget that I will allow you to be set back down again. And that was the most hectic, ugliest time that I've ever did, because I did time in Cherokee, Oklahoma. I did time with racist people. I did time with people that didn't see me as a human being. Hard time. It was hard time. Like, that was the hardest time I've ever done, and I've done a lot of time in my life, you know. And I realized when I got out of jail then, like, I have to do something different, right? So I try to go back to Tulsa. I'm like, Sarah, please let me come to your sober living. And Sarah's like, listen, I don't think you come into my sober living is going to be good for you. You need to go back to Miss Beth's house. So I hit Miss Beth up. I went back to Miss Beth's house maybe 2 to 3 weeks, and then I left. I got me an apartment at these nice apartments in the middle of downtown. I was sober for those 2 to 3 weeks I first got out, you know. And when I got this apartment, I started working in the studio. Start working with rappers. They start bringing in the lean. They start bringing in the real fatty. They start bringing in the real pills. So then I'm popping Perkies. I'm popping Percocets. The guy I'm working for has no idea this is going on, right? Like, I owe him an amends because I really did him dirty when he was really trying to help me. Because the same apartment I'm staying in was his. He's staying there and he let me drive his car. And he was really blessing me, right? And I'm taking advantage of the blessings because I'm in my disease. And so I'm popping Percocets, I'm popping Roxy's, I'm sipping lean, working in the studio, still lying to the people that care most about me. Like, yeah, I'm sober, I'm good. Like, you know what I mean? Like, God is blessing me with a good job. And everything about the enemy, dress it up and make it look real nice. And it can be what's going to kill you. In the end, she's trying to take you out in the end. You know what I mean? And so I really felt like that's what the enemy was trying to do. He was trying to take me out. And I was going to allow him to because I wanted to take myself out. You know what I'm saying? Being completely honest, like, losing that person, I just felt very suicidal. Like, every time we would break up and stop talking, I'm like, life is over. There's nothing left in the world for me. You know, this is the end of my life, blah, blah, blah. Everything that comes with that, you know. And I'm very dramatic. And so it was just really bad. And I wasn't honest with anybody that was close to me. Like I said, I was lying to my friends. I was lying to my pay, and it wasn't. And so I'm in this apartment. I get a phone call from my cousin. It kind of shook. This is what like shook me in my spirit, because my cousin lives in Pensacola, and my little cousin called me and she's crying, and it's like 3 o'clock in the morning, and Kaitlyn, what are you tripping for? You know what I mean? Like, what's the deal? She's like, I know you're doing fentanyl. I know you're doing fentanyl. And she was like, I don't understand why you would do this to yourself. Do you want to lose us? We don't want to lose you. So she's having one of those conversations with me. Like, I don't know when the next time I'm going to get that phone call that you're dead. You know, and that really shook me in my spirit. And it was weird because I even lied to her. I'm like, cousin, you're tripping. It made me feel a grief that I've never felt before, because it kind of was like a slap to the face back in reality. And so fast forward, I go hang out with some friends. We go to the casino. I won't say any names. We go to the casino. We come back from the casino, and one of my friends, we get to the hotel room. She slumped over, overdosing, right? And so I'm looking at this person, blue and pale, and I'm wigging. I'm like, bro, y'all need to leave, because I'm hanging out with people that don't have really good run-ins with the police. You know, police want to take us, you know, take certain people out, whatever. They ain't got a good history themselves. And so I'm like, y'all need to leave. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't have anything on my record. I'm good, bro. I can stay. So I'm doing CPR on her, you know, and I'm talking to 911. I'm like, I'm doing CPR on her. We done Narcan her. She ain't coming back. Like, y'all need to hurry up. So I'm tripping. But as I'm doing CPR on her, it's weird because I have a vision. And the vision is me. I'm doing CPR on myself. So I'm like, I started pumping even harder because then I made it personal, or God made it personal for me, right? So after that, like, everything started falling apart. This getting back with the same girl because she ended up calling me. She's stranded in Tulsa. She not from Tulsa. She with a crazy dude. So I go pick her up, take her back home. And when I take her home, like, she's strung out on fentanyl too. She's sick, so she need butane, right? So it's funny how God works. Because I really think this was God, like, really showing me what. Because I left Miss Beth's house. I had an excuse to leave. Somebody stole some money from me, so I crashed out. I was like, yeah, I'm gone. And that's whenever I met the guy that gave me the job and let me stay in his apartment, let me drive his car and all this. And so I go to Stacks to get some butane, and I'm sick myself, but I'm on drugs. Like, because she don't know that I'm doing drugs at this point, right? Like, I'm a closet user. Nobody knows that I'm doing drugs. So I'm, like, sick. I'm shaking. We start arguing because she's like, forget the butane because it's not moving fast enough. Well, I back out. And as I'm backing out, I'm angry. Like, and I just hit the gas and I smacked the car. Like, oh, my God. I just hit a car. So I'm like, well, I got to drive off. By this time, like, I'm not standing waiting for the police. Like, you got what you got on you. I got what I got on me. At the time, I had a pistol on me. Like, I'm living life like I didn't know who Jesus was. You hear me? Like, for real, this is me being honest. This is my story. I'm just telling the truth. Like, I had a pistol under the seat. I'm like, bro, I'm not going back to prison.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I drive off. Boom, I hit a car, drive off, pass the stop sign.
Wait a minute, you hit 2 cars leaving?
I hit my
You hit 2 cars?
Just one car.
Oh.
Just one. Just one. And it was parked. How embarrassing. It was a parked car. Like, how embarrassing. You know what I'm saying? So that just tells you how tore up I was, right? So, boom, I hit this car, and then I passed the stop sign, and then I passed the light, whatever. The person that gave me the job, he calls my phone. He's like, you keep getting in car wrecks in my car, and now the police is calling me, and they're talking about they're going to press charges on me. Like, what do you want me to do? Because he's solid. Like, this guy was solid. He wasn't fixing to tell on me, right? He's not from the streets, but he be around so many street people that he has street code, right? So he's like, I'm not going to tell on you, but you need to do what you need to do to take care of me. So I'm telling Charlie, so I'm like, I'm finna go back to jail. Oh, my God, and said a name. But I'm telling her, I'm like, I'm finna go back to jail. She's like, no, you're not. It's all going to be okay. And so I'm like, no, I'm finna go back to jail. So I start tripping, and she's like, it's going to be all right. So, I'm just sitting there, I'm chilling with her because it's comfortable. And I'm like, man, he's calling me. He's like, hey, bring me my car. Like, and I'm lying and telling him, I'm in Coweta watching the kids. Like, when I get done watching the kids, I'll bring you the car. Because he don't know I done went to Oklahoma City. You know what I'm saying? And I called Sarah, and I told Sarah what happened. I think I did. And then Sarah was like, you need to call Miss Beck. And so then I'm like, boom, so I'm driving. And he's like, you got less than 24 hours to get out of the apartment. And I'm like, oh, this is getting real crazy. You know what I mean? Like, I called Miss Beth, and I'm like, I did Miss Beth, I effed up. And she's like, what happened? So I tell her, and I'm like, do you have an open bed? Like, can I come back, please? And she's like, I love you. Of course you can come back. You know, like, what she said to me is this. She said, if there wasn't a bed open, I would still make room for you. I love you. And so, like, that was very powerful to me because I've lost my mind, and people are still willing to help me. You know, like, it was so crazy. So I go back, and like, me and my ex, we're not talking again because we're just not talking again. And then, you know, I'm telling people, like, bro, like, I want to do fentanyl. Like, I'm sick. Like, I want to get high, bro. Like, I can't do this. Like, the sober living is important to me. And then, like, my ex hits me up, and I finally tell her, like, everything. You know, I'm like, man, like, I'm struggling with this, you know. And she was like, I thought you were, but I wasn't going to say anything. I was going to wait for you to be honest and tell me what was going on with you. And she was like, I have somebody that can help you get insurance and help you get out to California. And I'm like, who do I call? How do I get out there, you know? And so I got the information, and I didn't go just yet. Like, I didn't make a move based, an irrational move. I waited to talk to Miss Beth about it. And you know, like, I prayed about it before, and when I prayed about it, I had, like, just randomly opened my Bible, and the story I opened up to was when Abraham packed all his stuff up, and God told him to go to a new land. And so I was like, whoa. I said, I told God, I said, God, I need one more sign. I said,
one more? Nah, he like, all right now, shit. How many fucking signs I gotta give you?
God is fed up with me by this time.
Right.
Like, if the person that I'm submitted to spiritually gives me the green light, I mean, so then I talked to Miss Beth, and I'm like, Miss Beth, like, I have this opportunity. I can go out to California. I can get sober. I can get clean. And she looks me dead in my face. She said, I think that would probably be the best thing that you could ever do for yourself. And I was like, no. I said, okay, I'm going to go then. And 3 days later, I was on a plane. I was out of Oklahoma, and I was here in California. And that's where my journey really restarted, where God really reset me. Like, he really allowed me to be recalibrated. And it's crazy the blessings that I'm experiencing in my life right now. Like, I'm looking at my life now, and I'm like, this is crazy where I am today.
Right.
And it's just I'm almost 10 months sober. And I'm like, this is just 10 months of me being sober, 10 months of me being willing, 10 months of me doing, if they tell me to do a handstand and drink some water, and they said it's going to help me, I guess I'm going to do
right.
a cartwheel. I guess I'm going to go try to do a cartwheel. Y'all might have to call the ambulance afterwards, but I'm going to do what y'all
right.
need to do.
Now, I do want to pause you real quick. Let's pause right here. First of all, if you guys are just now tuning in, it's the Couch Chronicles, where it ain't no fucking limits. It's prison, jail, felon talk this whole week on the couch. If you got your story and you would love to share your story, this is a safe space to share your story. I do this every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday from 8 Central Time, and every Wednesday from 9:30 a.m. Central Time. I'm on all platforms: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora, THA Couch on Facebook, Fanbase, Tagged, Big O, like. Wherever you can go, you'll see me. Couch Chronicles No Limits on Instagram, and my main YouTube Instagram, and my .coms, THA JANELL, and THACouch.com. Make sure you follow my guests on all social media. It's all about love, support, good vibes, and positive energy. If you're watching or listening on Apple Podcasts, Pandora, or Spotify, and you would like to see the visual, THA Couch on Facebook. I will be posting the actual live on the YouTube as well, which is THA JANELL. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Period. Now, you do have a podcast out now. Can you tell everybody about your podcast?
Yeah, so I'm starting my own podcast. It's called Kicking It with Kay. I'm going to be kind of doing the same thing. It's going to be really focused on advancing the kingdom of God. We're going to be talking about addiction, where we were, where we are, how we're going through the things that we're going through now, you know, how we're handling these situations sober. It's just sharing the message of hope, basically. Like, I will be having special guests on. It's going to be a lot of great things, because I've met a lot of great people out here in California, some people that are in very high places that we're going to come together and we're going to talk, and it's just going to be great conversation. So I would love for you guys to tune in. It's Kicking It with Kay on all platforms. It will be released on all platforms: Pandora, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and I do have a YouTube. So like, subscribe, and the first episode will be dropping this Friday at 5 p.m. Central. 7 p.m. Central, 5 p.m. Pacific time.
Okay. Y'all make sure you follow her, subscribe. Support. It's all about support. I don't just be sharing my podcast. I'm sharing everything. Anything that I can to help support my peoples. Anybody that got out, anything that you can do to help you move forward. Podcasts saved my life. Podcasts helped me. You know what I'm saying? It definitely, you know what I'm saying? When I don't have my wife to sit here and just talk to, I got you guys. You know what I mean? So, and I don't just have just my podcast. I got my prison family. I got my podcast family, my couch potatoes. I got my music family. Like, I'm thankful for you guys. And anybody that I've done time with, anybody that I've met during time, anybody that has impacted me during doing time, and I have impacted. We all about sharing. We all about spreading love. Y'all, today marks, I want to say, the 11th year for Ashley Parnell. And no, I could be wrong. It might be more. But
I think it's like 17.
I was going to say it might be more. I think it's like 17 or 18. However many, free my girl Ashley Parnell. I just want to send, first of all, a bunch of love to all my people that's still locked up that didn't get a chance to make it out just yet. Some of my people with the you don't even have time. You have literally ABC time, which is just letters. So, you know, anybody that's doing time, regardless of what their crime is, time does something to a person. It does something to a person, and a lot of times, believe me, if you want to, you don't have to, but a lot of times when you get into prison, you don't just go around like, hey, what you in here for? What you in here for? What you in here for? And a lot of times, if you in there for touching somebody sexually, you're not automatically just like, hey, I'm in here for rape. So there's sometimes girls and men, they'll form these bonds, and then they'll find out later on in the 33rd that they're on somebody's paperwork, or that they touch somebody, and it's like, damn, oh shit, I gotta kill this bond. They don't do that. They don't really just kill them bonds, really, for real. They do it out here in the world, but in prison they be like, now if they got a noodle and I need it, I'm still gonna go to her. They not gonna just stop talking to you. But it's the bonds that you build in there. The relationships is something that is kind of hard to break. The only people that can break the relationship that you built with somebody in prison is that person. Nobody can just be like, yo, don't fuck with them because of, no. Only that person can fuck up the relationship that you guys have built upon. Shout out to everybody that's still out. Shout out to everybody that's out struggling in their addiction. Guess what? You still got motherfuckers that's still right here with you, that's still here to back you and be there for you. It's no judgment here. No judgment. And that's why I always, and I do fuck fentanyl on the couch every month, at the end of every month. Because not everybody chose to get addicted to fentanyl. Some people got addicted just by taking a pill, thinking that it was just the pill that they usually get. You know, before we wrap it up, I do want to ask you a couple questions. What was the most traumatic experience that you experienced on the yard that you can remember? Have you experienced anybody dying while you were there?
The most traumatic experience is the Amanda Lane situation for me.
Mm-hmm.
That was very traumatic because, I talked to her like 10 minutes before that situation happened. You know what I mean? We was on the top of the hill, where the library is, and then the control place. We was standing there, and she looked at me and she was like, Howard, I'm tired. And I was like, it's going to get better, sis. Like, hey. And, I think she had just gotten into an argument with one of her really good friends, and she was upset. And so she seen me, and it was weird because it was just weird. Like, it was such a weird feeling. Like, when she said she was tired, right? Like, she's like, I'm tired. And I'm like, it's going to get better. It's better, And then I told her, I'm like, you can come to my room anytime. Like, I love you, Amanda. Because Amanda was a really good friend to me. Like, she was really nice to me. Any encounter that I ever had with her, like, it was always kind. She was always kind. Like, even though she didn't have a lot when she was in prison, she was always willing to give her last. No matter what it was, she was willing to give. And I think that's what made Amanda so special, is that even though she dealt with addiction and she dealt with certain battles and, she was always so nice to everybody. Like, she just never was hateful to anybody. She was always nice. And You know, I had a conversation with her, and I was just, like, encouraging her. I was like, you know, like, you've made my time here, like, right. I consider you like a sister, and I love you so much. And, like, we hugged each other. We both ended up crying because it was just a powerful conversation. I prayed with her. And I went back to my unit, and then it was like, it was just like, she's being drugged across the yard, leaking blood, and I was like, what? I literally was just talking to her like 10 minutes ago. This is not real. And then 30 minutes later, she supposedly hung herself in shoe. I don't really believe that, but that's what. I don't think that was the Chicago.
Wait, pause. You said she was being drugged across the yard with blood.
Yeah, yeah. Officers, like, when she got into that fight with Mr. Davis, officers were, like, dragging her to shoot, and she was, like, he whooped her ass pretty bad. You know what I mean? Like, she was leaking.
So why would she want to hang herself if she barely got the strength? She just got beat the fuck up. I don't understand.
Exactly. I really, I don't know. That's really a sketchy situation to me.
Before we go on, I do want to give a moment of silence for the ones that didn't get to make it out. For whatever reason, whether they passed away from a sickness that they found out in there, whether they passed away from one of the officers beating their fucking ass because that shit really fucking happens, or being raped, or just for whatever reason. Let's give a moment of silence. Thank you for sharing that, and you all, that's all my couch potatoes that's actually been keeping up with the couch. Y'all hear actually that same story from different people, or it might be the same or alike, or it's mostly the same from what I always hear. Losing anybody on the yard is tough, especially whenever it's in the penitentiary. When it comes to the penitentiary, I feel like they hide shit that happens. Like, why do y'all think to me, I don't believe that any prison should have a grave site in the back of the prison. But they do. A lot of them. Some of them are unmarked graves, and they found bodies there that prisoners have gone missing, dead. And not just in Oklahoma, I'm talking about like everywhere. Different states, different countries is happening. What are they doing? What do they do in case of somebody? Like, what are the procedures, when somebody passes away in prison? What was the procedures that you noticed did they get to the families? Did they contact the families? How did the families get contacted? How do you feel about that part?
That I'm aware of from what I was told from people being on the outside and us seeing what we saw on the inside. Amanda's mom didn't get contacted immediately. From my understanding, it was a couple of days before she was told what happened. Mm-hmm. And from us, we immediately get put on lockdown. But I will tell you this much. That was the first time that I've ever seen Mabel Bassett come together as a whole. Because when I first hit the yard, Amber had just passed away. Like, I missed that by like 3 days, right? So Amber had just passed away. I wasn't there to witness Amber's passing. Now, I did hear stories because one of my closest friends at the time was one of her closest friends. And so she would talk to me about the situation, stories. And I saw certain things, and I watched how certain officers protected certain people, people that were already in prison for doing certain things. Like, we don't judge people by their charges, but people's actions are questionable. very, 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 very questionable. And I sat back and I watched like how things move and how certain officers favor certain inmates and do certain things for certain inmates, and you know, and but when Amanda passed away, we were tripping. You know what I'm saying? We was in there tripping. We didn't care if you was going to spray us. We didn't care what you had to say, you know. Mr. McCord, he was trying to keep everybody calm. I remember I got into it with somebody because she was like, Mr. McCord is a good officer. And I'm like, whose side are you on? Are you rocking with the police or are you rocking with the inmate? Because we all know Mr. Davis just Amanda. That's a fact, right? And we all know at the end of the day, the police are rocking with the police. That's another fact, right? It'll always be that way. And inmates, when it comes to certain situations, you're supposed to stick together. No matter what, no matter when, no matter where. And that was a situation where every inmate together. Most inmates stuck together. And we were not tolerating that, you know. And they tried to appease us by opening up the compound for all units, no controlled movement. You know, on the outside, we had Amanda's mom protested. Sarah was there. Wayne was there. Y'all was probably there. You know, like, people on the other side of the fence. But justice, no peace. You know what I'm saying? And we're inside the prison saying, no justice, no peace. Because that's how we felt. That's how we felt. We was tormented for our friend because that wasn't justice. And y'all trying to appease us by opening compound and feeding us hamburgers.
Right.
Honestly, we can order hamburgers off Canteen. You know what I'm saying? We don't feeding us hamburgers and appeasing us for the open yard isn't going to correct that we just lost one of our sisters.
Right.
Somebody that's had a very big impact on this yard and has done time on this yard for a long time. Came into this penitentiary as a baby, and everybody watched her grow up. From the officers that have been there, from the chiefs to the wardens to the DLC officers that's been there 10, 15 plus years. You know what I mean? Like, that was a very trying time. And it was really like inmates were at war with the police. That's when I realized you can't trust these correctional officers. You cannot trust them. You know, like, you may hold certain bonds and relationships with certain officers like a Wue. I will always love a Wue because I got to see a Wue for who a Wue was. You know what I mean? Like, he's a very godly man. And he really has a heart to see people want to change their lives. But on Nego Bassett, you have to keep that guard up because the moment you let that guard down, the inmate thinks you're weak.
And I want to pause. I want to say this. When it comes to dealing with COs and anybody that's been locked up, because I know it's some people that be like, well, certain ones is good, certain ones is... They are taught to literally forget everything that they know and literally treat us like we're the scum of the fucking earth. I've had a previous officer on this podcast, and she spoke on that. That's a real fucking thing. So the ones that if this is the only way that I would ever say any of them is cool, that when a situation like when Amanda Lane got killed by one of those officers, if another officer is standing against another officer because they know that they are wrong, those are the ones that we like, hell yeah, these are the ones that we really fuck with. Those are the ones that's impactful for me, that made a difference. Because I've seen some officers literally quit their fucking job because of the way that they have to treat us. Not all people are going to want to go for that. What if they got a friend or family member that's in there too? So you telling them that they got to treat them like that as well? You'll know which officers are who when a real situation like that hits the fan. That's when people start showing their true colors, because it shouldn't be about officer against officer with officer and against him. No, it should be about what's right and what's right and what's wrong is what's wrong. Period.
Exactly.
Period.
Exactly.
Now I do want to get one positive before we go. What's the most positive thing that you could think about that you've told us what made a huge impact on you? What's another thing that you might can encourage some people not to want to go to prison, but just to know that it wasn't all bad? Because any relationship that I've built with anybody that I've been locked up with, I love y'all so much, and I'm so glad to have y'all in my life. Still got some of the same people.
You know, the most positive thing that I met, that I experienced in prison was the people that I would never thought that I would experience it with. You know what I mean? Just because you committed a crime, that crime doesn't make you who you are as a person, right? And I've experienced some of the most overwhelming, unconditional love from people that I would have never thought I would have experienced that type of love. Greatest friends in my entire life. And they're not just friends, they're family to me. They are family to me. Like LaVonda Knight, she is family to me. I will forever love that woman. That woman will forever be my second mom. She took me under her wing and she loved me. And she encouraged me. You know, like Marche will always forever be a sister to me. Schizo, forever be a sister to me. We don't have to talk every day. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have to talk to you every single day, but the friendships, Terry Realm, God, do I love Terry. You know, it's like there are certain people that impacted my life in such a way that I will never be able to forget. And it was all in the power of love. That's it. That's all it was. At the end of the day, it was the power of love.
Yeah, because it wasn't about what they in there for. None of that. We don't really, like, literally, people don't just go around asking about your case in prison. Unless they just literally watch you on TV and they walk you through the, like, hey, that's the person that y'all remember when that, unless they do some shit like that, people aren't just really, it's about the bonds that you build. And if you really pay attention to the bonds that you build, you might be surprised of the people that you around. You around some motherfucking killers. You around some thugs. Some real motherfuckers that'll really do some shit. But that's not the shit that they on. They literally, we are on some, for real, we on that elevate shit. I'm so proud of you, you know, and taking that step to go get help. Because you didn't have to. You didn't have to. You could have stayed the way you was. I appreciate you. And for even turning around and wanting to make a podcast out of it. I appreciate you for that. Because your podcast might touch something that my podcast can't. And my podcast might do the same for some. That's why I always say it's all about spreading the love and sharing. Like I said, it's not about, oh, she's my competition because she's a podcast. No, her podcast literally might be able to touch you the way I can. Period. Something that you might say might be able to touch somebody some way that I've never been able to touch. So I appreciate you for bringing your presence onto the couch. I appreciate that. I appreciate you for sharing your story, your background, about everything that you went through. You didn't have to share that. You could have came on here being something that you're not. But you came here showing your true self. And it takes a lot to do that. Not everybody can just be their true self. Without just, oh, is the world going to judge me? But you did. Thank you so much. Kaitlyn, I definitely appreciate you for being on the couch. And anytime, you are more than welcome to come back on the couch. It's not just a one-time thing. It's an all-time thing.
Yeah, we'll definitely, we'll talk again for sure. Thank you for having me. You know, it's a very powerful conversation, and I appreciate it. I appreciate you having me. Appreciate you trusting me with your platform, because I could have got on here and said something so crazy. So I appreciate you trusting me. I appreciate you trusting seriously, and I really think that, you know, your podcast is going to continue to do great things, because I tune in and I listen. There's powerful messages within your podcast, so it's going to continue to grow and do big things. And I'm proud of you as well. We never did time together, but you see how it works out. Same story, same circumstances, and we can give this and help others grow and learn from the situations that we've been through.
Exactly. Thank you so much. And everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. Like I said, this whole week is Prison Jail Felon Talk. If you would like to share your story, if you're brave enough. Not everybody is ready. Some people might not be ready till next year, but guess what? The couch will always be here. And I will always do Prison Jail Felon Talk every month for a week on the couch. So you got us this whole week. I will see you guys tomorrow. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's the Couch Chronicles, where it ain't no fucking limits. Make sure you follow Kaitlyn, share her, support her. It's all about love, support, good vibes, positive vibes. And anybody that just got out, welcome the fuck home. Let's get it. Let's stay on and listen. Don't think, please don't ever in your life think that just because I'm not reverting back to drugs or none of that, don't think that I'm going to judge you or I feel some type of way if you still in your addiction. Trust me, I've had, my wife and I, anybody that we've ever done time with, even if they in the middle of their addiction, they better know that they can call us. It's never no judgment this way, because life be life and shit happens. And sometimes we can't handle the situation that life throws at us after we've already handled the situation that life threw at us. Sometimes we tired. So don't ever for 1 second think that just because you reverted back to addiction or just because you're not the same person, that none of us is judging you. And I will never judge you or make you feel no type of way. So please do not ever, if you ever need us, if you ever need just somebody just to listen to or just somebody just to talk to or just a warm meal and you in the city, please hit us up. It's the Couch Chronicles, where it ain't no fucking limits, and we are always here for you guys. I love you guys, and I will see y'all tomorrow at 8 Central Time. Good night. Mwah.
Good night.
Thank you again, Kaitlyn.
Thank you for having me. It's all love.
Period. Wow. What an awesome episode, right? I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. 8 Central Time. Spotify, Apple, Pandora, thank you so much for tuning in. It's the Couch Chronicles, where it ain't no fucking limits.